Namaskar and welcome. So, in this session, we have amazing guests who always work as a team. It's a great teamwork. You have seen them in the past. And today, we are going to talk about a particular topic which has been widely discussed in academic circles and also part of the ancient history of India. So, without delay, I'd like to bring on Sri D.K. Hari and Hema Hari, a couple who has spearheaded this campaign of presenting the right history to all of us. So please welcome them with a loud applause. Thank you. So namaskar. Namaste.
Namaste.
So today's topic is very interesting, and I can already see so many people watching it, and it's just increasing. So Ramayan invokes a very deep devotional response from people. It happened in Treta Yuga, written by Valmiki, but even today, it just attracts people. What is the secret of that?
Okay. When the First of all, thank you for inviting us to be a part of this session of Sattology. We have also been following Sattology now, and we find the different sessions with scholars across the spectrum really nice, educative, not only that interesting. So, all kudos to you and the team for working along with you in bringing all this out to the youth in America.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Getting on the subject, the question that you asked for, we should see the reason why Ramayana was written. I think that would answer the question, what you're asking. Here we have Acharya Ratnakar, who we better know as Valmiki, because the word Valmiki itself means an ant hill. Because when he did tapas, dhyana, the story goes that an ant hill grew around him, so he's called by the name Valmiki. But his given name by his parents is Ratnakar, and because he's a great scholar, we also reverentially refer to him as Acharya Ratnakar. Okay. That being said, one day he met sage Narada and asked him a question. Because in the Indian Hindu ethos, there are 16 guna that a person can have, that a character can have. Okay. And he asked Narada whether any person, living or dead, has the 16 guna in him. If Narada is aware of such a person having lived in the past or in the present. So Narada responds to it by saying, forget about the past. Now in our lifetimes, there is a person living with the 16 characters, the 16 guna. And that person is Rama, the Raja of Ayodhya. So he says, so that is what, so then Valmiki wants to find out the 16 qualities and elicit them and place it before us. That these are 16 qualities of a person, of a man. That why you call, or we all call, Rama as Maryada Purushottam. Purusha Uttam. Uttam means the highest. Uttar, north. Uttam, the highest. So Purushottam we call him, because the man who got the highest of qualities among Purusha, mankind. So we say that. So Ramayana's story was written by Valmiki in verse form, beautiful poetical verse form, to bring out the 16 qualities, characters, guna of Rama. So the Ramayana story is a canvas. It is in this canvas of the story of Ramayana, the journey of Rama, Ayana journey, Rama's Ayana, Ramayana, the journey of Rama, that these 16 qualities, characters, and in this circumstances, because just listing out the 16 qualities is fine, which is what we have done in our book Ayodhya. But more importantly than just listing out the qualities, how does a person actually live up to these qualities in the trying circumstances that he comes up in his life? So all these trying circumstances have been placed there, and how he lived up to these qualities is what is brought forth. And wherein we see all these incidences in his life in the situations as enunciated there. So it's a beautiful poetry written, and it's important also to note that so Valmiki was a person living in the times of Rama, Sita, and all that. So it was a first-hand report. So of the times and the geography of the land then, and all other many other aspects of the land, but the primary focus is to bring out this guna, so that you ask this question. See, we all know now that Ramayana is about 7,100 years ago, the events of Ramayana. So for a legend, a text, characters to survive for so long and still be venerated, not only in the land of India, not only in the religion of Hinduism, but all over the world, across dynasties and civilizations and centuries and millennia. That means there must be some innate good qualities to the text and the characters in the text. That is what is relevant, because these 16 qualities are universal for mankind everywhere, all over the world. And if we aspire to live for it, then we become good human beings. That is the key factor. So each one of us, what we do, we try to be good. That's one of the key factors. And what is it we look to as a role model? Here is a person, Purusha Uttama, what we call as Purushottama or Maryada Purush, the ideal person. Maryada, respect. So the respectful person. So we can endeavor to live up to those standards as much as we can. Out of the 16 qualities, even if we can try to live up to say 10, 11, 12, 13 qualities in the given circumstances, because each of us in our life go through very trying times, very trying positions in various ways. We have to balance between family and social life, between social life and corporate life, professional life, college life. So we have to balance all these things. So which takes priority, which is of higher calling than the other, and where you have to sacrifice for self, you have to sacrifice a family for a higher calling. So like that, we look at it, and to live within a code of dharma, where you have to live in sync with nature, because it has to be synchronizing with nature, prakriti. These are the important factors, and these are timeless factors. So the word dharma itself means character. It not necessarily means religion alone. It means character. Because one of our articles in our blog is only on the word dharma. There's a full article, 4 or 5 pages on that. And we take examples from Rama to say how he was a dharmic person. Okay? That's what. Yes.
So coming back to the very nice explanation you gave. Now coming back to when we discuss Ramayan, and there are people from outside cultures, and they are questioning, and I'm talking purely in the American context, where they are questioning the historicity of Ramayan. So our proof is Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and also multiple Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and there are multiple people corroborating it that it is a real life incident. The names of those places are still existing. Ayodhya is still there, Chitrakoot is there, Kishkinda is there, Lanka is there. All these names are still there. So where people get stuck up is in the Yuga calculation, where when you say Treta and Dwapar and this thing. So for those Americans who do not know the Yuga, it's a cyclical times. The timelines are so big from the beginning of creation. So the Vedic timelines are mostly cyclical, and that's exactly the time is. That's why we say history repeats itself. If it was not timelines, then history doesn't repeat itself. Now, how do you put the calculation of yoga in front of all these people in a more understandable way?
See, for us today, when we say time, the thing that comes to our mind is the clock that you see on your wrist or now on your computer or cell phone. And maximum that you can measure, that we can think of, is the calendar, which tracks time for 1 year. Now, anything beyond a year, we really don't have a unit. I mean, we may say a decade, we may say a century, a millennia, but then it is all still it's count of just years. Year is the fundamental unit in all of that. Now, whereas, and again, if you look at what is a year, actually, a year is nothing but an alignment. It is the time taken for the earth to go around the sun and come back to the same spot, which is 365 days. I mean, this way, that way, depending on the, there are fractions and so on. But at the point where it started and when it comes back to that spot again and is aligned with the sun from that spot, then you say it is 1 year has been completed. So fundamentally, it is about an alignment. And that is how you measure time, because if you look at it, what is time? Fundamentally, it is nothing but the amount of travel you're doing in the space along with the sun, taking your moon with you. If you really look at the space, though while for us, on a daily life, we tend to forget this aspect and we think everything is, we are deep rooted and we are standing in one spot and it's just the sun and the moon going around. If we open our minds and look further into the sky and pause for a little while, we will be, because all of us have read this in science, so we all know this, but we tend to forget that we are all moving in space. The sun is also moving. The galaxy in which the sun is, the Milky Way galaxy, that is also moving.
Also spinning.
So we are all moving in space. And what is time? It is the measure of the distance you're moving in this space. And it's so beautiful that it's all circular paths. The Earth is going around the sun is going around the center of the Milky Way galaxy, the galaxy is spinning, and many of these galaxies are spinning around the center of a cluster. It's amazing how all of this, and our ancients have depicted this as Vishnu Sudarshan Chakra. It's such a beautiful idea in that one single disc.
So
and the beauty is, it's all, in a plane. It's a flat plane kind of all the circular is happening like this. It's not like one is like this, one is like that. I mean, it's so beautiful. And what is happening is, therefore, these circular movements or motions are also described in units of time. So time is nothing but just these motions that are happening. And Indian thought had gone, so when you're talking at such large scales, okay, at earthly scales, a year is fine. But how do you keep track of larger spans of years? So they resorted to various other alignments. So an alignment of Earth, then along with Jupiter, with Saturn, with Sun, bringing in more and more objects. And the word they used for alignment is Yuga. The word, this comes from the root Jug, and is also the root for the word yoga. Today is also International Yoga Day. So yoga also comes from aligning, join. So breath, body, how do you use that to bring your mind in alignment? So that is yoga. And the same thing you also find in the word yojana, which is an ancient Indian word for measuring distances. So because after all, what is distance again? If you go down to understanding what is a distance, it is nothing but 2 points which are aligned by a line or connected by a line. So again, you see a line coming into play. So yojana is also something about aligning. And in Indian terms, you also use yojana, therefore, for programs. So plan, because it's a program or a plan is that thing that you hold to go from one state to another. So that program with which you travel is a yojana again. So life is full of alignments. You have to align. And yuga is that kind of an alignment that happens with planetary bodies, celestial bodies, so that you can measure time. The reason you want this is, see, if you have just Earth and the Sun, and even if you were to assume, look at it from the space point of view, with just two bodies, how will you know where you are again in space? You need yet another point of reference. So you say that when the earth and the sun come in alignment with Aries zodiac, then it forms 1 year. So you started when the sun was at the Aries zodiac and you went around and you came back to Aries zodiac again. Oh, that means a year. So you need a point, another point of reference, and that has been served by different planets. And sometimes when all the planets are aligned and they come in line with Aries, that was yet another major alignment. So they had different alignments, and these were so Yuga is just a term, a generic term which says it's an alignment. And there were different types of scale. So it's a scale, it's like a scale. So you had yugas which were just 1 year yuga, which is why in India, a new year of the Telugu people, Kannada, Maharashtrians, and they of course have another name also for it. It is called Yuga Adi, Yugadi.
So what of the term Yugadi for
a
New Year?
That's right.
Okay, especially Central India and South India, they call it Yugadi. That
Yeah.
means Yuga Adi.
Adi means beginning or start. So starting of a yuga, where the yuga is just 1 year
Because
long.
even though it's a New Year, they don't call it Varshadi. Varsha means year. They don't call it Varshadi. They call it
Ugadi.
Yugadi.
Yeah. We call it
Because
Ugadi.
1 year is a Yuga. Every year
Right.
is a Yuga.
Yeah.
And so like that you have 1 year yuga, you have 5 year yugas, then you have 60 year yugas which are called Manava Yuga. And this
20
is
yugas.
based on Jupiter, Saturn and Earth, Sun
She's saying
alignment.
this because 60-year Yuga is very important. It's called Manav Yuga. See, it takes Jupiter 12 years, 12 Earth years for Jupiter to go around the Sun. For Jupiter, it's 1 year. But from Earth, it is 12 Earth years for Jupiter to do one revolution of the Sun. Okay, so it's called a Jovian year. So that is the Yuga. So when Jupiter, Earth, Sun come together, it's a Jovian year. And you have Saturn, Shani. Shanaishcharam, Shani. That's Saturn, the planet Saturn. Saturn takes 30 years for it to go around the Sun. So Saturn takes 30 Earth years to go around the Sun for its one revolution. So when you have Saturn, Jupiter, Earth, and Sun coming in alignment, it is 12 into 5 for Jupiter and 30 into 2 for Saturn, 60. So that's the lowest common factor. Okay, lowest. So that is 60 years. So a Manava Yuga is 60 years. So man, Manava, expected life expectancy is minimum 60 years. So you call Manava Yuga. That's
And
also Yuga.
which is why in India you find in many communities, especially in the south and Tamil communities, they celebrate the 60th birthday with
61st
great
birthday.
61st birthday with great pomp. You know, it is like you're starting another cycle.
You
So,
complete 60 years
so
as
60 years is a cycle of yuga. Like that, 12,000 years is also a cycle of yuga.
once again. You can say no, that's why 60-year cycle is called Shashti Apta Purti. Shashti is 60, Apta is completion, year up, Purti is completion. So that's a major milestone in a man, completing 60 years and entering 61 year.
It's so interesting, no, that even the modern world has used 60 years as the year of retirement from your work. And they say that, okay, now you go to the next phase of your life.
It's a phase of
very,
life.
very interesting. So like that, and then there is another scale of a yuga, a much bigger alignment, which is where the minimum unit is 4,32,000 years. And that they call as the basic unit, which is Kali Yuga. Then you have 2 times of that, which is Dwapara Yuga. And 3 times that unit is Treta Yuga.
Tra, Dwa is 2, Tra is 3. So,
And then a four times, which is Krita Yuga.
Krita.
And totally they sum up to 10. So
4, 3, 2, 1 adds up to 10.
So 10 of a basic unit. And so there are so many scales of yuga. And when they say Treta Yuga for Rama, for instance, I mean, this is a little bit of a doubt that most people have, because what has become popular as yuga are not all these lower scales. It's only that higher astronomical yuga. So it depends on what you want to measure. So if I just want to measure my daily routine, a 1 year yuga scale is fine. If I want to measure synchronize the moon and the sun calendar, then a 5-year yuga is fine. If I'm looking at a human scale of life, a 60-year yuga scale is fine. And when I'm looking at some major planetary alignments, then the 4,32,000 year kind of scale is fine.
Astronomical yuga, that is.
That is called an astronomical yuga. And when you are looking at history, typically, then you tend to use this 12,000 year scale of yuga, and which is also doubled, and then you get the 25,000 ayana yuga, which is the time they talk about with relation to
precession, which is now known as the Milankovitch cycle
as well. So
because it was a East European by the Milankovitch who postulated this theory first.
So therefore, when they write, when Valmiki has written Ramayana, he hasn't specified which scale, because when you just say a yuga, anybody can guess which scale it is. But since most people are very wowed with the astronomical scale, it somehow got into our head that we are talking about 4,32,000, so into 3 times, so 17 lakh years. 17 lakh is whatever million,
so many million years. So that is just one of the scales.
So
actually,
because
there are
of
7
that,
scales.
because of that, people find it a dilemma to accept Rama as historical. See, one side, there is the divinity of Rama, which is accepted by everybody. The other side is when you come to the historicity, then when you only know this 4,32,000 and multiplied by 3 kind of numbers, then it's easier for you to tally with the divinity aspect than bring it down to the historicity aspect. So we have
Here,
to.
I'll a little bit pause you here.
Yes.
So when the great spiritual personalities they talk about Ram and as his life as a lesson for rest of the humanity, all humanity, it doesn't matter whether you're Hindu or not, all humanity, his life lessons become applicable because he's like you explained, his Maryada Purushottam. So the message that his life has, his teachings have, even today many governments in the world want to have Ram Rajya. Unfortunately, without Ram, but they all want Ram Rajya. So the message is that that Ram Rajya, his teachings, his personal character, those are an important message for the humanity to carry and to live by. So when you look in that context, then historicity loses significance. But at the same time, if you want to really have faith in Ram, then historicity then again comes back because that any historical incident brings you faith. Some time back somebody asked me that is Ram fake? I said, today's science allows me to even make Mahatma Gandhi fake. I can always question everything, and so it's to just to
And make a fake historical. And
so
make a fake history.
so in today's world we can do anything with technology. We can always doubt anything, you can question anything. So the same parameters which prove that Ram is a historical figure, which has more proofs than even Mahatma Gandhi, because he has got a life history written live by Valmiki, and his Ayodhya is there, Chitrakoot is there, Kishkinda is there, Lanka is there, Hampi is there, Nashik is there, Nashik is there. So all these historical proofs which Ram and Krishna have, they make Ram and Krishna more historically relevant than even Mahatma Gandhi. So that is the level of historicity proofs they have. So now coming back to this question, like you touched a very important point here, that Bhagwan Ram's message is very important for spiritualists and his character and life. But for the empiricalists or people who go by the empiric science, the historic relevance of putting the dates in order also plays a very important role, and which you just did right now, explain the Yuga cycle and different parameters for it. What is your, today is a yoga day, talking about Bhagwan Ram is a great thing for talking live in front of so many people. So, so when we say, now coming back to your question for you, is that which method of calculation do you recommend? Because you are a researcher on this topic.
When you say method of calculation, can you just clarify? I mean,
Of
what do you mean
yoga.
by method?
Method of
Of
calculation.
yoga.
Yoga.
Okay, okay. See, as she explained, there are various types of calculation of yoga, starting from 1 year yoga to 5 year yoga to 60-year yoga to 360-year yoga, all that. So, in the Purana, there is a particular mention where you have the yuga calculation, difference of about 2000 years between each yuga. So when you apply that calculation, and we should quote the verse for it, it is there in Vayu Purana, verse number 32. It's there in the book Historical Rama, where we have said, as per this yuga calculation, as mentioned in this particular verse of Vayu Purana, it sits well. Because there are a variety of calculation. Because Aryabhatta has given a different variety of calculation. Because Yuga is just alignment. So different alignments. It sits well. And if you actually look at, there are 7 types of Yuga, again, which we have said in this book. It's, I think, again there in our article in our blog. You'll see it.
Yes.
The names of the 7 types of Yuga. And we cannot imagine, there's one more image there, that it's only the 7th variety is what Valmiki may have thought of, because Valmiki doesn't qualify which of the 7 he has used to say that it was Treta Yuga. Actually, if you see in the main Ramayana, the word Treta Yuga doesn't arise. It is only in the postscript of Ramayana do you have it.
Yes,
The word Treta Yuga per se arises.
you're right. I read the Valmiki Ramayana neither in the beginning. Actually, I am a you started in the right way, because in the beginning, the first question in Ramayana is question to Narad Muni. That's the
Yes.
first question. That's the first shloka is in the Balkanda.
Yes.
It's the first question, Narad Muni. And even if you go through the entire, there are few hints over there, like especially in the when the Nala, which is a Vanara and son of the Devtaon he's the son of the
Vishwakarma.
Vishnu.
Vishwakarma.
So
So
only
Vishwakarma Kula.
only there is a slight reference. That's a Treta Yuga, but there is no reference whether it's in the beginning or towards the end. And the general the information is 36,000 years Dashrath Maharaj ruled, 11,000 years Bhagwan Ram ruled. Now when you add them, I don't know which yuga calculation they're talking about. 36,000 plus 11,000. There's 47,000 years just Ram ruling.
There again, see the 11,000 years. He doesn't say he ruled for 11,000 years, because years is an English word. So let's not impose an English word on a calculation in another language. Easy to just put the word, because it doesn't say years at all. So that's again a much later, because the word 11,000. See, if you take, suppose you just take the word Varsha. The word Varsha, if you take simple, it has got many meanings. If you look at the land Bharata, it's called Bharata Varsha. So the land is also Varsha. Rains is Varsha.
Yeah, 11,000 Varsha. Okay.
Varsha. Okay. So Varsha. So Varsha has many meanings, many reasons as to various meanings. So just to say Varsha means straight away year and say Rama ruled for, you could have ruled for 11,000 rains. Or there's also connotation, 1 year of 1 day. Each day is a Varsha. That is eminently possible. So this is what we again researched, and we made a short film only on this point of 11,000 years being 11,000 days. So we calculated actually how many days that Rama ruled. It's there as a short film in our YouTube channel in the link. The playlist called Amazing India. The specific question has been answered there with exact number of days. 11,000 into 365 into this, the multiplication is there for all viewing.
Because just to kind of give a flavor for how this maps to days, see, when there is also there was a trend, because this comes out from other texts as well. Then he is able to achieve in 1 day what people would take 1 year to achieve. So thus, when somebody has lived and ruled for 11,000 years, then that king has actually, even though he has ruled for 11,000 days, it is equivalent to what somebody would have achieved in 11,000 years.
Yeah.
That was a kind. See, today, if I have to, even if I have to drive from A to B, I figuratively say I'll drive down. I don't know why this down comes. Now, a few generations down the line, if they read our conversation, okay, I'll drive down to your place, they'll think that I'm living in a hill and you're living in a valley,
So
and
there's so
somebody
many.
is driving down.
And if you say,
So
it
figures
takes
of speech, the trend of speaking changes with
time,
generations.
and it's poetry, so we should give it that space. And also, if you say you're going to drive somewhere in US from point A to point B, you can say it's so many miles, or you can say it's 4 hours. It's a 4 hour drive. So your distance, your geographical distance, is also mentioned by way of time. It's 11-hour flight. You don't say it's 8,000 kilometers or 7,000 miles. You just say it's 11-hour flight. So the terms itself start changing. Recognize that. So that's why when you use the word Varsha, it necessarily does not mean narration story. He's again dealt in our short film in our YouTube channel. There's a film called Varsha, Varsha, Varsha. Mentioned in a different context, it's there. So you can see how the Varsha concept has been taken out of place by many people to say it's 11,000 years. It's not 11,000 biological years.
No, I must say one thing to all the viewers who are watching it live, that English is a funny language. So because because when you speak English, you have to really dumb yourself down, and then you don't come out properly. And the fact that we are having this recording in English is itself an irony of everything, and I accept that. But we are talking to a local audience, so we have to speak in English here. Now, and this is my last topic. We'll do more sessions on Ramayana because a lot of people have deep faith in Ramayana and Bhagwan Ram. And whether you believe it or not, there are a lot of Americans who run Ram temples in USA, and some of them are watching it. And so Valmiki is a legendary figure for them, and somehow it is getting lost in India, but in US and other places, gaining more and more. And like Brahma says to Valmiki, as long as there are hills and rivers on this planet, till that time Valmiki will be sung and glorified. Valmiki Ramayana. And you did a very good thing also. You told us what is the name, actual name of the person who is called Valmiki, and you shared with us. My last point is, and before,
Just one more point to add here with the
yes,
name
please.
Valmiki. He says that I am the son of Prachetas. And he says that I am known to never utter a lie.
So
See,
there
the
was a
beauty of the beauty of the statement is you should understand the context of what he says. He says at the 10th, when he introduces himself to Rama, when his disciples Lava and Kucha, that the sons of Rama reciting Ramayana, he introduces himself to Rama as a 10th son of Prachetas, and he says, I have never known to say a lie, an untruth. He says, I've never known to say untruth. But you should keep in mind here that this Valmiki was a highway robber. And being a highway robber, he's never said a lie.
That's before he turned
So look at it.
leaf.
Even as a robber, he has never said a lie. This is an untruth. You can say a robber has got so many lies to say. Valmiki, even as a robber, see, look at the contrast, the beauty in it.
well, for some Americans, we are not advocating you to honestly rob being a robber. That's definitely not what we are trying to do here. We are just trying to make a point about his personality, that is a very truthful personality.
True.
And very good point. So, in the last point is, since a matter of faith over science and astronomical science. So, what do you recommend? What is you say? Because you both are a practitioner also. You both belong to a sampradaya, and you are an author also, and you're a researcher also. So, within your mind, what rules more, faith or the science or the logic of the timelines?
I wouldn't like to use the word faith alone, because faith means whether it's right or wrong, you have faith in it. So even if it's wrong, you must have faith in it. Fundamentally, so it takes away the logic. The logical, illogical, you have to accept it as faith. Whereas in the Hindu thought, you seek out the logical, you analyze, you have to be rational, you have to be scientific, and then you have to go about with insights and seek and find out for yourself. It's a self-search, it's a find out for yourself. See, the plate is laid there. In that plate, you have to do a self-find. That's what it is. So it is not a question of blind faith. So I would say, so we have to use some other better terms for the
See, we
Hindu.
normally use the word bhakti.
Bhakti.
And
Wow.
bhakti is different from faith. We use devotion. And we use words like sharanagati, which is surrender. We say acceptance. But rarely do we say faith. We still go to the extent of saying shraddha. But that is more of commitment. And the Indic thought has never said just blindly believe and do something, blindly believe somebody. It has said you do your test, you understand first, align, understand, assimilate, and then when you find it worth it, you will automatically surrender yourself, you will accept that
The
truth.
truth, sat and asat. You have to test it. That's why Buddha very beautifully says, whatever I say, don't accept. Like how a goldsmith rubs the gold on the stone and sees whether it's real or not. So you'll have to test everything or check everything out for yourself. Many people say that. So you have to tread your path. That's very clearly
And
said.
the strength comes with characters like Rama and Krishna, they being divine and having lived historically like us
Itihasik.
humans, whatever they have done have been at such a scale that you cannot but accept. So you end up surrendering, you end up showering devotion at the once you get to understand and get near their story and get to see them with the inner eye.
Is one point I'd like to add as a concluding point. In the Hindu thought, in the Indian thought, you see very clearly this understanding and the understanding of science are intertwined. They are not two parallel lines that never meet. It's clear intertwining. And we said another program also in the Ishavasi Upanishad. It speaks about intertwining of the two, because if you don't find science and the different thoughts that come to you, you will be in darkness. If you do science alone, you will be in darkness. If you do spiritual or other pursuits alone, you will be in darkness. You'll be in even greater darkness. So it's a good intertwining of both that's essential to understand and get to the true result. So it always so jnana, knowledge, and vijnana. That's vijnana. Means special there. In this case, psychology. So vijnana and jnana should be intertwined. That is when you can get to the true light of anything. Be understand the historicity of Rama, or the historicity of Krishna, or any other thought that's mentioned in the Hindu literature, be it the Gita or the Bhagavad Purana or any Purana or the Itihasa, Mahabharata, Ramayana. It's essential to intertwine both so you get to the real understanding and the real answer. That is how you have the anubhava, the experience. Without science and without the traditional knowledge perspectives, para and apara vidya, you cannot get the anubhava. So they are not two different paths. They are intertwined, aligned path. That is a mind changer for many people because they always because we are over the last few hundred years or many hundred years we've been taught to say that religion is separate, science is separate, or any other traditional knowledge separate, science separate. No, here it's very intertwined.
And the beauty of it lies is that, like you were saying, when you look at one thing alone, you get lost. See, the last couple of hundred years have shown the way we have progressed. We have been chasing only science, only economics, and many of us have got very unrooted, very unsettled. And it is this knowledge from the spiritual, from the religion, from the philosophy, which actually roots us further. So even though science is a very rooted kind of a knowledge, it is about the gross physical world and the matter that you are living in, you will be unrooted if you do not have the experience and the knowledge of the subtle to ground you. So it is very, very essential that you have a good leg on both.
It's a judicious mix of both.
So thank you very much, DK Hariji, Hema Hariji, and today our time is up, our links are, so we have to wrap this session, but we will do the second part of historicity of Ramayana and continue with the detailed explanation of other things as well. And I also recommend users to go to Bharat, BHRATHGYAN, search on Google. You can visit their website directly. You can also search them on Amazon. And also you can go to the YouTube and search for BK Hari and DK Hari and Hema Hari. You'll get all their videos over there, the videos that they were referencing. So look at them, and we will definitely have them back to all of us with more questions. Many users have asked a lot of questions, so I'm going to postpone those answers to the next show. And because of our time, we have to go by the timelines put up by the network. So thank you all very much, and namaskar, and very grateful to you to have come here.